Quickly here, I want to get let's get to the top of the food chain so we can just like readjust our thought process here. Get in a little more positive mode. World Series rematch over the weekend. Dodgers and Yankees. The Dodgers take 2 out of 3. Game 1, Yankees were up 5-2 and lost. Game 2 was an 18-2 blowout for LA. But then going for the sweep, Alex, they had Yamamoto on the hill. He was not good. Went 3 2/3, gave up 4 runs. They had 10 base runners in there. So what did we learn from the World Series rematch? Anything, Alex?
I don't think we really learned anything. I loved, going into that last game, for the Dodgers, going for a sweep. You have your best pitcher on the mound. For the Yankees, it's like, we're in Dodger Stadium. We're about to get swept by the Dodgers. No, we have to come out swinging, and they certainly did. Now, Yamamoto didn't really, wasn't on his best game. He looked a little bit off over the course, and the Yankees took advantage. I got to give credit to Yarbrough, too, because, he pitched really well.
Tremendous. Yeah.
Those are the types of guys I loved catching over the course of my career where you knew it wasn't going to have, they're not going to have overpowering stuff. But when you're able to navigate a lineup like the Dodgers with the kind of stuff that Yarbrough has, being able to change speeds, go, move in and out, it's extremely gratifying because your plan, your process, everything is working, and the guy was executing. But I don't know if we ended up learning anything new that we didn't know already about these two teams. I think for them it was just, a 3-game series in the middle of the season, and they were, kind of going at it.
Dodgers are still hurt, and the Dodgers look better. I mean, for me, what about you?
That's the thing. I think the National League is so much better than the American League.
Yeah.
I think there's more elite teams, and those elite teams are better than the elite teams in the American League. And something only means something when we figure out later. So the 5-run lead the Yankees blew on Friday, reminiscent of the 5-run lead they blew in the World Series against them, that there may be a thing in their mind that if they match up again, that, a lead is not safe against the Dodgers. And the Dodgers know we can come back. The blowout doesn't mean anything. I think those are ones that guys flush out more easily. The Yankees avoided a sweep. They're one of 3 teams this year that has not been swept in a series more than 2 games. And it's the 4th time that they've had to win a game to avoid a sweep. And so I like that they've been able to sort of step in. The other thing is beating Yamamoto, who's one of the best pitchers in the National League, and beating Fried, one of the best pitchers in the American League. It shows that there are offenses out there that can actually beat some of the best pitchers in the game. Like we always say, good pitching shuts down good hitting.
Right.
They beat the aces and 2 of the best pitchers in all of baseball. And the length and depth of that lineup for the Dodgers is great. However, yesterday was the first time all season that the 1 through 4 hitters got goose eggs. None of them got hits in the game. It's the first time all year that happened. So it is so interesting, these 2 teams, but they both, I think, certainly have a shot to return to the World Series.
One thing, though, on the player front, Max Muncy looks like he's
getting back.
It looks like he's getting back.
Yep.
I mean, the 7 RBIs in the second game, the couple of home runs, hit his 200th home run over the weekend. He looks, and that'll be huge as far as lengthening that Dodgers lineup as well. Like you said, those first 4 guys didn't get hits, but, Muncy came through in a big way.
And it's going to be Mets and Dodgers starting tonight.
Rob Lowe, Magic, got to see all of them. Of course, I didn't talk to any of them. I let Dexter Fowler handle those dudes since he, knows everybody. But, it was still cool. I got to be out there for that
Adam
series.
Sandler's one of my favorites.
Let's wind it back to it, boys. The Yankees staved off a sweep in the World Series rematch. The Dodgers outscored the Yanks 29-14 to take 2 out of 3. Kevin, what was your biggest takeaway, though?
Max Muncy just getting on fire. The Dodgers seemed to be way better the first couple games, right? It just seemed like I was excited for the series. I was watching this series. These are 2 big boys, right? These are 2 big boys. 6 MVPs in this game. We talked about it. 3 on each team. I'm not going to go through them, right? We know who they are. Betts and Freeman. Yep, and Ohtani. Yep, and Goldie. And then we obviously have Judgy and Bellinger. So when you have this kind of star power, it makes it fun. Then all of a sudden it got weird in Game 2. Dodgers beat them 18-2. The only 2 runs in that game were homers from Judgy. I just think it's a June, end of May type series. Yanks are on the West Coast, and Dodgers take 2 of 3. So you're looking at 2 teams that could end up in the World Series again. It's a real percentage, but there's a long way to go. But it was definitely good television. The LA, they look good, man. It looks like when the big boys are on that stage, the Dodgers find a way just to keep kind of rolling and rolling.
Yeah, isn't that something? Impressive, by the way, to come out in Game 1, the at-bats that they had against Max Fried. I mean, Shohei Ohtani taking him deep twice, but like, here's the guy who's been the nasty
free,
pitcher, let alone right-handed, left-handed,
Yes.
didn't matter. Yeah, great at bats, great approach. You know, and who would have known that Ryan Yarbrough was going to be the guy that saved the series for the Yankees? He went out there and pitched, you know, masterfully on Sunday. So, yeah, this is what it's all about. And depth. Like, the Dodgers are just so deep. Their lineup is just so loaded. They don't have any of their pitchers. All of their starters seem like they're hurt, and they just go out there and win 2 or 3 against the mighty Yankees. So it does look like that, but that's what we're at. It's June. It's early. You know, what we think is one way could be a different way 2 months from now. So it's just fun. I was so fired up to just watch the series. These two teams, these two top powerhouses on the national scale, playing on Saturday night, playing on Sunday night. Like, it's what it's all about. Superstars of the game, you mentioned it's 6 guys with MVPs in the lineups. So just a blast to watch these two teams compete against each other. And I don't know. Is it a rematch? We'll see. We'll wait and see, Sierra. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, Los Angeles is going to continue their stretch against New York teams. MasterCard Ballpark Cam up and running at Chavez Ravine, where the Mets and Dodgers meet once again. The Mets took over first place in the East and are a season best 15 games over 500. The Dodgers also sit atop their division. They lead baseball with 5.8 runs per game. The Mets lead in ERA. So, Demp, what's the percentage chance the Mets could beat the Dodgers in a playoff series?
Yeah, 50-50. I mean, these two teams, they're both really good, right? Like, I don't see, like, I understand that right now when we look at it, the mighty Dodgers, we just talked about it, they're so deep and they're so loaded. Well, the Mets got a great baseball team, and Juan Soto hasn't even gotten hot yet. We've talked about that. I mean, Pete Alonso has been carrying this offense with Francisco Lindor. So I look to the Mets, and I lean towards the better pitching staff, at least the healthier ones. I mean, you look at Griffin Canning's done a good job. Kodai Senga's been unbelievable for them. Go down the list. David Peterson. Like, these guys are pitching. Their bullpen's been really good. Edwin Diaz is nasty. That dude is a game changer at the back end of the bullpen. So, to me, good pitching will always beat good offense. How good is the Dodgers offense? I think we're going to find out in this series, but this is definitely something when we look at kind of New York. This could be a rematch again of the NLCS that we saw last year leading into the World Series. So both these teams, $300+ million payrolls, superstars on both ends, but yeah, 50-50. Let's go. Flip a coin. Who wins?
Yeah, and let's remember this. The Mets have the best home record. They're 24-7 in Major League Baseball, right? You remember the Padres got that 12-0 start, I believe it was? And then the Mets have just been solid. They went through a little thing because it's called baseball, right? And we talked about Juan Soto, blah, blah, blah. He's got 10 homers. And all 3 of the big boys, Lindor, Soto, and Pulibero homered yesterday against the Rockies. So when you're looking at a club like this, is a good ball club. This is a ball club that wouldn't shock anybody if they end up in the World Series. The parity of baseball this year, the parity of the big boys, the stars, and we kind of all gravitate to that. So, yeah, the Mets at home, they're tough. And that's what you want to do. You want to be a good home team and win games you're supposed to win. And usually at home with your music, your walk-up, you got that vibe, you got your family there, you're living in your spot. It's nice to sleep at home, but there's a lot of factors that go into it. And I agree right now, you know, especially you're flying all the way east from the West Coast. And the Dodgers are obviously bullet tested. It's fun to kind of go, yeah, the Mets, but they do play well at home. So the advantage, in my opinion, would go to that home record, which is 24-7, best in the league.
Well, when I was out there on Friday in Los Angeles, we got the news a couple hours before the game that Mookie Betts was dealing with a fractured toe. He is not going to start on Monday, but he could be available tomorrow. The Brew Crew is alive and well, fresh off a sweep of the Phillies, which, you know what? I think we should get a brewer on this show. Why not? Maybe in a little bit. Should we?
Maybe Yelly.
Yeah.
Is Christian Yelich around?
I wonder what he's up to.
Haven't seen him for a while.
He's up to.
Turned on at Great American Ballpark, where the Brewers are in Cincy for a set with the Reds. Milwaukee sits 5.5 games back at the Cubs, while the Cardinals are just 4 games back. So, Kevin, how many legit contenders are there in the NL Central?
You know, I look at this, it's a great question. Like, who can really kind of win this division? You know, obviously the Cubs, they're scoring runs. They've been on top of that division. We saw the Brewers a little bit early on, and they're not going anywhere. The wild card to me is the Cardinals. Like, who are they, right? They are way better than I think that people gave them credit for, but can they sustain that long-term wise. So I would say legitimately to win this division, there's two teams, and that would be the Brewers and Cubs in my opinion. And I'm going with my eyeballs. And that's kind of like after the Brewers just went into Philly and swept Philly, who is a darn good club that a lot of us would think would be in the World Series also, once again. And then you see the Brew Crew going there, like, okay. And when they're alive, and Pat Murphy, one thing he does is the accountability of players to play this game the right way. I'm going to tell you how I feel, and this is who he is, right? And so I love the way he is as a manager because it's the accountability. Sometimes we get in the big leagues and everybody gets too cool. Like, oh, I can't yell at him. He's making $29 million. Bull. You play for the dudes, and I think that's kind of what the Brew Crew's mojo is that they play for each other. They play hard. Sal Frelick's been unbelievable during this little win streak. He's a good ball player. I believe there's two teams, and that would be the Brewers and Cubs, in my opinion.
That's nice. I'm gonna throw the Cardinals in on this. I do it out of a couple different reasons. One, I think they've gotten hot. They're playing good baseball. Two, I don't like to say anything bad about St. Louis because last time I did that, Chris Bryant and I, the whole St. Louis is boring thing, and next thing you know, we're getting yelled at, hated online. You know, Chris really struggled with that. Yadier Molina was yelling at us. Everybody's yelling at us. So I'm going to say that the Cardinals are. Plus, I did Roger from Fayetteville, Arkansas, who was an undercover rival down there for Booking.com when I did that whole bit. So I'm going to say they're in it too. All three of these teams at the top are all in this to win the division. I don't know who's going to win. It looks like the Cubs are the favorites, but I'm not counting those other two teams out. I do notice the last couple series the Cubs played against the Reds.